Namaskar, everyone. Welcome back to Sparsh Rubaru, the official podcast of Sparsh Universe. I am your host, Arthana Singh, the proud head girl of Sparsh Global School. Our previous episode received such an overwhelming response, and today we are back with even more energy, excitement, and curiosity. Sparsh Rubaru is not just a podcast, it's a bridge between ideas and young minds. A space where conversation sparks inspiration, knowledge, and change. And in this episode, we bring you something truly unique, a conversation that touches the very foundation of our nation, the Constitution of India. Often seen as a complex and heavy subject, the Constitution is really introduced to the kids in a simple and engaging manner. But our guest today has truly changed that to their book, The Great Book of Rule of India, our Constitution. She has beautifully simplified the essence of the Constitution, making it not only simple but engaging for the students. It's a rare attempt to bridge the gap between a profound document and curious learners, inspiring children to connect with the values that shape our democracy. It's my honor to welcome Professor Sakshi Vijay to Sparsh Rubaru. Professor, we are so happy to have you. So we'll begin with the questions. Professor, before we dive into your book, could you share a little about your journey? What inspired you to pursue law and eventually become an author for young readers?
Before I tell you that, Archana, I want to thank you, Sparsh Schools, Global School, and Sparsh Rubaru for having me as a guest. It's a pleasure of me, Ashwat, and it's my absolute honor uh, to be interviewed by someone who understands the Constitution and a student who's trying to learn it is uh, is the way forward for this book and the cause of democratization of our Constitution. And now I will say, Prash. So, what inspired me to do law? I was always a curious and a sort of a girl who believed in affirmative action when I was much younger. And in school, I had nobody in my family who's a lawyer, but I was always inspired to do things to change what's around me. So one of the obvious ways to do that is through the legal fraternity, and at that time it was not I think it was not so complicated to be a lawyer, so I joined the Loveland College, which was ILS Law College in Pune, and that's where I did 5 years of law, and I don't regret a bit of it. There's so many ways in which a lawyer can make a difference to the lives of the people. Like I'm doing it as the professor, there are people who do it while they're doing litigation, there are people who are working very hard in corporate firms, paying taxes, contributing with the GVP. There are people who are doing activism for lawyers, and the right way to do it is with the help of law, being on the right side of law. So that was my basic inspiration. And till today, I try that if I see something which I don't believe in around me, I use my knowledge of law to try to bring it to the attention of the authorities and to get it changed as much as possible with them.
Truly inspiring, ma'am, especially for a young student like me. Knowing about the journey of an individual is really important as it helps us to shape our pathway also. So thank you so much, ma'am, for that. So the Indian Constitution is a vast and complex document or a constitution that we learn. So what inspired you to make this subject more accessible to children?
Okay, that's a great question, Athada. The Indian Constitution is actually the longest in the world. Complicated, yes, and it's a living document. So every year there are amendments. There was one very recently which was talked about a lot. But the essence of our Constitution is held in time. It's what was relevant years back. It is what is relevant today. It is what will be relevant for a lot of years to come, and that is captured in our preamble. So the book is mostly about the values of the preamble and some fundamental duties and fundamental rights. So that part of the constitution, which is called the basic structure, I'm getting a little technical here, and it's a complicated document, not just for children but also for adults. As a lawyer, it's very easy to say that you know about the constitution, but regular people who are not lawyers, who are vigilant citizens, may also find it complicated because the book has been in the custody of lawyers in the legal fraternity for too long. And the idea or the motivation is to democratize our constitution. Everybody, and this I'm quoting from a judgment of Justice Rohinton Nariman. He said that from the candle maker to the toy maker to the person standing, I'm just quoting it very roughly. Every citizen of India should know about the constitution. And like you, if you buy it for your children or if you're reading it for your children, it's great that the adults are also at least building a relationship with our constitution. A lot of people don't know very basic things about the constitution. So the idea is to make it an everyday thing. It's like, I'm just giving another example which may be relevant. Religious texts, like for example, every child might know about the story of Mahabharata or Ramayana, and this may translate into other religions as well. And there are books for that to make it easy for children, for adults. There are movies on that. But the constitution is still a complicated document, like you say. So the idea is to make it everyday, is to make it, every child must know about constitution, have a document like that in his house, and to, it's just another book. And it's a very important book. So everybody to know and be familiar with the constitution. That was the idea.
Okay, so basically, it should replicate the idea of a storybook, but in a very knowledgeable way, which is useful for the future.
Also an accessible way, like it's not something that is kept in museums or used in courts. It can be used in a playground as well. The principles of the constitution are relevant in the playground as much as it is in the parliament. So the idea is to bridge that gap.
Yeah, so basically, we change that traditional office game to something which is court element. Okay, very beautiful. It's very great. Nice, and it will help the kids in the future if they are stuck somewhere, so they can remember like, okay, this is my right and I can work for that.
Yes.
So if you had to sum up the Indian Constitution in just one simple line for the children, what would it be?
The one line that I can use, and I thought about this a lot, is the first sentence in our preamble, which is, I'm not quoting the entire preamble, but all the 5 principles. It's a secular, socialistic, democratic republic and sovereign republic. Yeah, these 5 words, I think, and also the bit about equality. I think equality for equals. Again, I'll answer this in the next question, but equality is a concept often misunderstood, not just by children but by adults. So I think if there's just one principle of the constitution that everybody in India should know about, is equality.
Okay, so Ashpam, equality is actually really important. Even for students, I mean, if they understand, like we see a lot of cases coming up basically about bullying and all that. If the students are aware that yes, we all are equal, I guess that will be very helpful for us all to stand together and abide by the nation. Yes, ma'am. So, what do you feel? It is important for a child being learning about the constitution at an early age?
Absolutely. Like I said, I have a child who's 5 years old. He's contributed a lot to this book, and the idea also came because of him. And I read a lot of bedtime stories to him. And a lot of those stories, be it Panchtantra, be it Akbar Birbal, be it any other story, the ideas or the principles are very similar, which is of fairness. For example, there's this story that my son really likes, which is Birbal ki Khichdi story, right? And the idea is about fairness. The idea there is also about justice. And the same ideas are there in our constitution. So instead of going into grandma's stories, and grandma's stories are great, and using grandma's stories actually to talk about the same principles, but through the lens of our constitution, instead of going into, say, historical, kings and queens or religious texts for that matter, just to the framework can come the constitution and the idea can remain the same. The story or the moral can remain the same, only the lens can change into a constitution. That's the idea.
So, amongst all the fundamental rights, which one do you think students or children should practice in their daily life, maybe in school, play, or at home?
Okay, so there's a story here, and I struggle to explain that sometimes, but there's a visual. If you can just imagine that with me, if I can take the liberty of that. So there is this one wall, and there are three kids. There are fruits kept on the wall, and there are three kids who are all of different height, and they're all equal. We all agree that all these three kids are equal, but their heights are unequal, right? And maybe their ages are also unequal. And they all need to reach the same level, which is where they can grab the fruit. Now, for one student, for one kid, only this much of a step is required. And if we give them a small stool, which is that much, the student will be able to reach. But for someone else who's shorter, we may require this much, right?
Yes.
So, again, equality is a fundamental right, but equality is for equals. Unequals need to be treated unequally. To give you another graphic example, when we run on a racetrack, the starting point for everybody is different. And for the shortest innermost circle, the starting point is the farthest, right? It's the most behind. You're running equal, but because you have the shortest path, you go back. So that is the idea. In this book, that's through a story where there are three kids. They're all 5 years old, but there's one kid who's 2 years old. Now the 2-year-old kid obviously has smaller feet. So the 3-year-old children allow the 2-year-old to go a little, take a head start and then start the race. So equality is a very double-edged sort of a sword. You can, claim equality and ask for a lot of things. But one should remember that equality is for equals. So if somebody is inherently unequal to me, then I cannot claim equality with that person. A misunderstood concept. This is what kids should know from the beginning. All kids, privileged, underprivileged, all sort of kids should know that equality is for equals. That is one thing that I learned as a grown-up. And I think a lot of grown-ups still don't know. That's something that graphically through experiential learning like you have in Sparsh Speak, that's how this can be explained. It cannot be told in isolation. It has to be experienced. Only once you are in this situation where you understand, oh, maybe just because I look different, or maybe because I'm born in a certain place, in a certain character, is this a requirement for me? It may not be for somebody else, but this may be a requirement for me. This will work for disability, this will work for bullying, this will work for anybody who feels different in a situation. And kids need to be aware that no matter how they look, feel, are, where they're born, none of this should make them different as far as the Indian Constitution is concerned. Indian Constitution is going to treat you equal. That one principle I think needs to be emphasized from the child of a child.
So, which principle or right in the Constitution do you think children unknowingly practice in their daily lives?
I think there are a lot of fundamental duties that, and I have some guilt in admitting this, that when we were growing up, I grew up in the 90s in India, a post-liberalization world, there was a lot of wastage, which my generation did. And I think kids these days, I think you, Artita, my son, for example, are a little bit more vigilant about tomorrow's earth, tomorrow's India, and are trying to reduce that. So I think in terms of fundamental duties, which is preservation of our soil, air, water, yours is the generation, the children of today, if they are told about this correctly at the correct time, if they're made responsible for it, if it's made cool to be an energy saver, to be a water saver, then I think it is you all who will save this world, will save this country, and they are practicing.
And there was one more question that came in my mind, which is, do you believe children sometimes remind adults how to follow rules and values better than we do?
Absolutely. Again, this will depend on children mirror their upbringing, their parents. And I just met your director, sir, before this, Mr. Amit Saxena. He told me a very nice thing about reading. We all parents these days are trying to inculcate reading habits in our children. But they won't do it till you are reading. Like as parents, you have to be reading to make sure that they are reading, right? So a lot of times, and my generation and the generation older than me are hooked onto their phones much more, I think, than the children. So one thing that at least I keep in check is screen time, and to talk uh, after having some thought about it. Like if I say just anything to a child, they will ask more questions about it. As an adult, you become very guarded about the questions you ask. You start feeling that will be judged. Children are naive about this. They will ask, they'll keep questioning me. For example, and you are asking me very nice, important questions. So before I tell you something, I have to be very sure of what I say to fact check. Like that's something that I am learning from children, or I'm learning because of children rather. What I'm learning from children is also yeah, reading, spending more time being in the present. As adults, this may or may not be relevant to our discussion of the constitution, but like is a fundamental right, and how you enjoy right is by living in the life is by living in the present, which is something as adults you often forget or take for granted, but kids often remind us for that. And I am grateful, at least children, if you sit in a playground for 2 minutes and play with the child, you do live much more in the present, and that's something that I like to do and remind myself of.
So, also your book can help to establish a connect between a parent and a child.
Absolutely. So yeah, instead of bonding over like I said, other things, I'm sure you as a parent are also trying to inculcate constitutional values. So this book is just a medium for that. The idea is to spread the message. The book can help. If it can help parents, then great. Instead of you thinking of your own stories, I'm already giving you stories. So yeah, that's
Okay. So now, do your own childhood experience play a role in shaping your passion for law and justice?
absolutely. I was raised by I think 3 generations of very strong women. My grandmother, who I respect very deeply, my mother, take no, I can't use that word. Take no nonsense. They have zero tolerance for any discrimination based on gender. So I think they have helped me a lot. My sister, a lot of my friends, I've grown up around very strong women, so that always has helped me not be scared to say what's on my mind. And I think that's a very important confidence for any girl, child, anyone, even the child, but especially a girl growing up, to know that what I'm saying may or may not be correct, but I still can say it, right. So that has helped me a lot.
So, what is one fun story, game, or activity from your book that helps children connect instantly with the Constitution?
I think there's one activity in the end, which is a pledge, and to feel like you're a part of a community, to be like you're a team. So all the children in India are a team, is how the book explains the concepts. And then in the end, there's a pledge with all the children say together, which I think makes it fun for them, because they have to repeat, and that's something that all kids like. So.
Okay. Our school emphasizes leadership, integrity, and humanity. How do you think Constitution nurtures these same values in young citizens?
Absolutely the same values in terms of humanity. Can I just use the book to tell you? I don't want to misquote anything. So this is our preamble. Justice, social, economic, and political liberty. So this is what is guaranteed to secure to all its citizens: justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, very importantly, and to promote among them all fraternity, which is brotherhood or system, community basically. So everything that your school is trying to inculcate are the values of our constitution, and are the values which we must put into our custodians of the constitution, because tomorrow you will be its custodian. We will go away. So all the children need to be aware of what the constitution provides and what it expects to guard from the children. Same values as your school. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And next question will be, what message would you like to give young readers who dream of making India a better place?
Again, like something I thought about a lot. The one message that I want to send to all the children of India is please be connected to the Constitution of India. The one message that I write to all the children is that the Constitution of India loves. Please love it back. Give it a chance to love you back. That's all.
Last but not least, if you could give one golden rule about right and responsibilities for children to carry with them always, what would it be?
Okay, so duties first before rights. It is your duty. If you see someone throwing garbage on the street, you can't be like somebody else will come and pick it up. You pick it up. Taking charge. Gandhiji said, be the change you want to see. And I am just echoing the same sentiment. If you see something wrong happening, don't wait for someone else to come and, bell the cat. Whatever in your limited capacity that you can do. You can hug a tree today, please hug a tree. You can give, it's raining a lot, but otherwise, if you want to water a plant, please do it. Uh, what No small step is too small. And only when all of us do it together in terms of doing something for our country, and the other is to be a team. Everybody in India, irrespective of your name, your last name, your skin color, your hair, anything, you are an Indian and you're together in this. Because tomorrow India will be yours, right? So the other right, it's actually your right as well and your duty to be together, to be a team. And that's one thing that all the children of India should remember, that wherever you are, whatever you do, you will always be a team of, Indian children. And that's one message you can carry with yourself.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This conversation actually would leave a very deep imprint on me as I have learned a lot from you. True inspiration, ma'am.
Wow.
Helped me.
Too kind.
This conversation actually helped me a lot in understanding that truly our constitution is really important, and everyone in our country, especially from a young age, should know the essence and the importance that our constitution contains. So, with this, thank you so much, Professor Saikya, for this enlightening and inspiring conversation. Today, we discovered the Constitution is not just a set of laws written in book. It is a way of life. It teaches us how to live with respect, fairness, and unity, and how each one of us can contribute to making our country a stronger and a better country. To all young listeners of Sparsh Rubiru, remember, even the smallest action matters. Being kind, being fair, following rules, and standing for your own. What is right will always be the right. This is Arthada, the head girl of Sparsh Global School, signing off. Remember to learn, to think, and always to question. Thank you so much.